This is Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Dr. Short, is an honor to have you back on We All Be once again. You are the true people's champ and public intellectual number one, as far as I'm concerned. And I want to talk to you about the Roseanne Barr controversy. What's your thoughts about it and other things related to it?
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to start off by saying thank you again, Brother Hurt, for reaching out to me. And, you know, Roseanne Barr is an overweight white woman. I mean, I think she might be Jewish too. You know, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But she's a overweight white female comedian. Okay, she's made a lot of money having, you know, poor taste and a lack of discretion. And so that's a comedian. I love Richard Pryor. Okay. I don't watch her show. I mean, I'm not turned on by fat people. Even I don't even like my own little belly. I mean, so I'm racist against obesity, even my own. I don't even like when I see my stomach, you know. Mm-hmm. So if two fat people wouldn't be interesting. I mean, except what they were doing liposuction, I would see them lose their fat. Mm-hmm. Then I'd be interested in Roseanne's show. Although they did lose some weight. Not enough. No. So she's a comedian, and comedians say stuff people don't like. And she had the right to say whatever she wanted to say, even if it was offensive. In fact, I kind of like this America with Trump and where people say what they really mean. Mm-hmm. Because it used to be, if someone like myself could see that someone was racist, to brain dead black people these days, where you literally need to have a white person set them on fire before they'll recognize people are racist. I kind of like now people are saying how they think and feel about things, and it gives some authenticity, and it vindicates and validates people who are involved and speaking up. So she had freedom of speech. She exercised it. Freedom of speech does not mean that you will be free from people's reaction to how you exercise your freedom of speech. So you can say, you know, something really crazy like you hate this group or that group or kill this group. And you have a freedom to say that, at least in America and some other countries where they have more stringent codes for speech. You'd find yourself put in jail for inciting hatred or violence. But we don't have those kinds of laws yet. So, one, she had the freedom to say it. And then we have to remember, she is an overweight clown. Comedians and other people test. You know, they test boundaries. Artists and performers test boundaries. I mean, R. Kelly's testing boundaries. Mm-hmm. Lil Wayne definitely tests boundaries. Tupac tests boundaries. Richard Pryor tests boundaries. Eddie Murphy tests boundaries, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of when you're a performer, you're trying to get attention. We need to also remember that this fat white woman, her show was sinking. I mean, they had a big debut and everybody was watching, and then they stopped. Now, part of what hurt Roseanne's show, if you ask me, is that she had the son on there playing he's gay. And I think that's boring. People have been fagged out, gayed out, homosexual out, same-sex out. It just, just everything, you know. you know, you go in the store to buy some rice pudding, and they have to say, well, they'll put a rainbow on it. In fact, this rice pudding looks like ejaculate. I mean, everything has to be gay themed. Some people are like, they get annoyed. So she lost a lot of her audience. People don't want to see all that.
Mm-hmm.
And so she wants to make a comeback by messing over, cracking on somebody black. I mean, that's a normal white thing, but you can just crack on black people. That's the thing that you're hearing, which is a misnomer. What she really did was she took a ride on Jews. That's what Roseanne's real crime was, okay?
Mm.
And if she was making fun of, I'm interviewing, if she was making fun of just black folks, it would have been a lot less of a repercussion. But she did blacks and rich, powerful Jews.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you recall, back when Donald Trump first got in, remember February 2017, every time Donald Trump did something that was in relationship to black people, there would be a Jewish crisis on the exact same day.
Mm.
That would almost preempt. Like when he went to the African American History Museum, there was a Jewish emergency. So he's talking about Jews on black people's time. When he had the little African History Month, Black African American History Month summit in the White House, it was a Jewish problem. This happened 3-4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Every time there was something black, because the Jewish folks did not want blacks on the agenda. They want it all. Okay? So when it's to their advantage, they'll have what? Remember they were claiming that there was someone black that was targeting and threatening Jewish people, and it turned out it was a Jewish boy over in Israel who was issuing all these threats against Jews that they had put on a black man in St. Louis. Okay? People forget this. They don't pay attention. You go back and you check. When Trump went to the African American History Museum, he was talking about Jews and anti-Semitism, not about black people and black history. He didn't get to do that because each time they created a diversion to force the issue to be them and not deal with black folks. By the way, the president is elected to help everybody. So I don't want anybody legitimately naturalized in the United States. Hint, hint, if you're illegal, you have to wait. In fact, get on top of the bus, not the back. In fact, don't get on the bus at all. All right? Everybody's supposed to be able to lobby and get what they can from the government, the state, both federal and local. So I'm not mad if Jewish folks get something for Jews, but I do have an issue if they try to block other people from getting some attention and redress. We pay taxes too. We die in the army too. We live here too. We outnumber you. Okay, we're suffering here. We're not suffering 70 years ago in Europe. So let us get ours. Thank you very much. Okay, and take that however you want to. But in reality, don't we need some help? I think so. All right. And for a group that's doing well and affluent, it's got a third of the billionaires, and you would think that they're worse off than the Native Americans and African Americans when it comes down to getting attention. Fact. That's how people behave. Now, mind you, she attacked Chelsea Clinton, and she got it wrong that Chelsea Clinton, on Twitter, Chelsea Clinton was married to a nephew of George Soros, but instead she's married to a son of a senator who was busted for fraud. Okay. And she made light and humiliated because there was some back and forth between Chelsea Clinton and Roseanne on Twitter. And basically, Roseanne dogged George Soros. His name was actually George Schwartz, and he changed his name to Soros. He was a man who helped the Nazis exterminate fellow Jews, I think Romanian Jews, in Hungary and Romania, forgive me if I get, it was one of the two countries, the Eastern European Jews. He was helping to kill them, take their money, and give it to the Germans. And if you ever hear George Soros says he had no regrets, in fact, enjoyed doing it. So here's a Jewish man who helped murder Jews, and Roseanne brought this up. What you'll find is the issue of the Holocaust and Jewish complicity in the Holocaust is a very, very unpleasant issue for American Jewry in particular, because the narrative is that they were nice people, just wonderful, loving people, never did anything to anybody, and suddenly all people outside of the Jewish community just began killing them. They had no notice, no warning, and it just sort of happened. They all ended up in concentration camps and were killed in the millions. And that's not exactly how it happened. How many millions were killed? You know, that's a debated number, but certainly millions were killed of all types of people. But there's a complicity amongst many, many people that were Jewish that helped kill other Jews. And see, then that takes this thing of everybody being anti-Semitic, that yoke off of many people who had nothing to do, or actually were no more complicit in the mass death of Russians, Gypsies, Jews, and everybody else than many Jews who were involved in this persecution of people. And so when Roseanne started bringing this up, this set off an alarm. You have to understand that the Holocaust, and I call it the Holocaust card, is an industry wherein people are consistently made to feel guilty, complicit, responsible, and they owe reparations and consistent need to beg forgiveness of organized Jewry for crime committed in the past. You're understanding me? When you start showing that things like the Havara Agreement, where the World Zionist Organization and others cut deals with the Third Reich in Nazi Germany for Jewish people to be able to resettle in Palestine with the assistance of the Third Reich, I mean that. Yes, they signed an agreement between Hitler and the Jewish leadership, sat across the table and cut a deal. And what Hitler did, keeping up his end of the deal, and it's a lie that Adolf Hitler was just a complete maniac and monster. Adolf Hitler fulfilled as much as he could the terms of the arrangement that he made with the World Zionist Organization to help German Jews liquidate their assets in Germany, transfer that into equipment and material to make new lives for Jewish people on the land that they were taking from the Palestinians. Fact, Hitler did that. And we're not talking about 1 or 2. We're talking about maybe 60, 80, 100,000 German Jews, somewhere between 60 and 100,000 Jews, were helped by Hitler to move to Palestine with money and equipment for them to set up and be more advanced than the poor Palestinians who they were living among. Okay, this is what really gave life to the project for creating the State of Israel. So whether people like it or not, Adolf Hitler is one of the godfathers of the creation of the State of Israel. I'm shocked. I'm descended from my great-great-uncle was tortured and experimented on by the Nazis. I was co-raised by a Jewish woman whose family barely escaped the Nazis in Russia. I absolutely have no love for Nazism, but research and study forces you to see this kind of reality. It's called the Transfer Agreement, or the Havara, Havara Agreement. It was done, I think it was finalized in 1937 following Kristallnacht. Hitler agreed with the World Zionist Organization to lay off of persecuting Jews, or at least to persecute Jews differently. They didn't want the Jews to stay in Germany. They would do everything they could to help the Jewish people move somewhere else. Those Jews who took the option to move to the Middle East were not gassed. They were not tattooed. They were not put in concentration camps. The story that we're told is just everyone Jewish was rounded up, put in a concentration camp. Those are the movies that Hollywood shows us over and over and over again. Of course, there are those who are lucky enough to get out. That story they'll tell too, but they won't tell the story of the person that says, hey, look, I'm going to Palestine. They go in, they report themselves, they start working with these people. Everybody's house and property wasn't stolen. That's a lie. That is absolute. And so when someone like Roseanne brings certain controversies, this is very frightening to the people who are very concerned about keeping the memory of the Holocaust as organized Jewry, organized Zionistic Jewry would like for us to understand what happened in Europe. Then you have to go after that person. By the way, I would never be allowed on television for citing history, not picking. I didn't call nobody any names. I absolutely don't like Hitler. I don't like Nazism, but to absolutely say that Jewish people had enough power to force Hitler to sign an agreement with them. And Hitler maintained this Havar agreement all the way into late in his dictatorship, about the late 1940s, when they were not able to send Jews from Germany or Italy to Palestine because of their ships being torpedoed and being attacked from the air. You hadn't heard that Hitler, and they were giving them the money, transferring it. Good stuff. Mm. And on one hand, the Jews were moving into Palestine with the German help, and they were getting help from the English to set up an Israeli army, Haganah, and the other Jewish groups, even the Stern Gang, terroristic group, which, by the way, was trying to negotiate with Hitler. Actually, some Jews were looking at supporting Hitler's rule, provided Jewish people got a state. You hadn't heard that before. Mm. There's elements of the Stern Gang. Menachem Begin, the Prime Minister of Israel, was in the Stern Gang. One of the leaders of the Stern Gang went as far as going to Berlin to try to get Hitler's support for a Jewish state. And he was assassinated, not by the Nazis, but by certain Jews who didn't want to talk to Hitler at that point. Okay, there's this huge history of what has happened around this Holocaust. And so I would say that Roseanne Barr has been Holocausted. Mm. That's the real crime, is that she criticized wealthy, powerful Jewish people. By the way, Chelsea Clinton married them. I think the guy's name is Mitzvah. I can look his name up, but he's a crooked. Mitzvah is the first name. The last name, let me pull it up. The last name of this gentleman, I'll have for you in 1 second.
Okay.
Some of these names, they're not names you see every day, and you could really mess up the name. I don't want to do that to your audience. When you talk to our folks, you want them to be able to have real information, real empowering information. I'll have it. His name is Mark Mazinski. Okay. And he's the co-founder of a hedge fund that's gone broke. Okay. And his father is the crook. Okay. Mm. They're from Philadelphia, same area that who got busted in recently? Bill Cosby. Mm. I need to emphasize that Bill Cosby lived in Montgomery County, which is right outside of Philadelphia. Many people do not know. They always hear about Charleston, South Carolina, but the heartbeat, or should I say the brain of the the trade of enslaved Africans to the America was Philadelphia. Did you know that?
No.
You did know.
No, I didn't know that. I did not know that. I was thinking about Charleston Harbor or something.
Okay, see, they want to do that because a lot of people don't associate the South with Jews.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole lot of manipulation in how you hear something. Let me just run this down to you. The financier of the American Revolution was the largest Jewish slave trader in North America named Haym Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
There wouldn't be an America without a Jewish slave trader paying for everything. If you ever wonder why they were in Valley Forge, okay.
Wow.
And so what happens when black folks move to a city? People move to the suburbs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that Jewish community that made a lot of its money from Solomon and other people that were in the city of Philadelphia moved to the suburbs. Elkins Park, where Cosby lives, and those surrounding places in Montgomery County are heavily Zionistic and Jewish. Fact. Mazinski, born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, grew up attending a conservative synagogue. His parents are former Democratic members of the U.S. House of Representatives. His father is Edward Mazinski, who embezzled millions of dollars from people via a Ponzi scheme and an advance fee scam, was found guilty in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
And look at this. His mother, Marjorie Margolis, whose name I know, she's a very famous reporter here in the Washington area. She was the congresswoman for Philadelphia's 13th district. They declared bankruptcy before Mazinski's conviction and divorced. Stop for 1 minute.
Okay.
Marjorie Margolis, that name Margolis, I'm going to look it up real fast. She comes from an important family. Hold on, I just want to share with you what happened to Roseanne.
Mm-hmm.
Born in Philadelphia. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You get where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
Graduated from the University of Pennsylvania, 1963. It doesn't tell you who her parents were. I now need to look up the name Margolis. I suspect that it's one of those names that might be either a Jewish or an Italian name.
Mm-hmm.
But what am I going to say to you about it? I suspect that she comes from an important family as well, or at least one of these striving type families.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right. Now, so you have a person with a background in media. ABC, by the way, I believe is who she was with.
Okay.
Isn't that the same company that fired Roseanne Barr?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Know that the new black woman that's supposedly head of ABC is married to a white man.
Okay.
Why do I think the white man is Jewish? I have my suspicions. In fact, let's look real fast and see if the name seems like it's an unusual name.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll see what Roseanne stepped into has nothing to do with whether they care if they call black people monkeys or not. Wait a minute. Let's just sit down and think about this. The number one rabbi in Israel that just blessed effeminate Kushner, who's the son-in-law of Trump, and Ivanka, has gone on record as calling black people niggers and monkeys. You haven't heard the American media criticize this man.
Mm-mm.
They didn't criticize the number one rabbi in Israel when he calls black people monkeys.
Mm.
So why are they mad if Roseanne called one black person, a monkey? Just one. He said us all, and not a problem. She picked out one person, and let's do this real fast. If you look up Valerie Jarrett has Jewish ancestry. She's a Creole on one part of her family from New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
They still celebrate Jewish holidays and the Jarrett family.
Mm-hmm.
Seder. She would celebrate that. Valerie would celebrate Seder, the Jewish holiday, because she's a Jew.
Wow.
You get where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm.
She called someone. I don't think Roseanne got too deep. This is one of these sort of mulatto Jews that's connected. Sometimes you have people like Obama who has some Jewish ancestry that most Negroes won't acknowledge because they're silly. That's why I like to hang around my own people. I don't like dumb people. Let me pull up this woman's name real fast. Valerie Jarrett. Pull up her bio, and I'll share some of this with you. I don't remember this all off the top of my head.
I mean, it's amazing, like, what you're providing, though. I mean, like you said, you don't hear this on the nightly news. On
the nightly news. Who's running the nightly news?
Like the Jewish people, the Zionists.
Don't hate me. I didn't make anyone run the nightly news.
Right.
Valerie Jarrett, she looked like the average sister to you? No. Okay. She even looks like one of the person that will haggle with you to get a lower price. Okay. The name is Bowman.
Mm-hmm.
And I think James Barbara T. Bowman, that's the one I need to look for. Let's see, where is she from? Hold on one second. Chicago, Illinois. Okay, nah, that's not who I want. Okay, here we go. Okay, her grandfather was second in command to Booker T. Washington at Tuskegee.
Emmett Scott?
No. Let me run it down to you. The grandfather of Valerie Jarrett is named Robertson Taylor. Okay. He's the first accredited African American architect. That's why you have that thing called Robert Taylor Homes. First black student to enroll in MIT in Massachusetts. He designed the buildings on Tuskegee's campus prior to 32 and served as second in command to Booker T. Washington. He was in Wilmington, which was the Black Wall Street. No, it wasn't. Actually, Durham was. But that was one of those neighborhoods that blacks were doing very, very, very well until the riot forced them out in the late 90s, right? Fact. Let me see. He moved to Cleveland, designed stuff. Let me see. When does he move to Chicago? Okay. I'm going to get rid of that. Somebody in this family is Jewish, because if you look up Valerie Jarrett, she'll tell you that they celebrated Seder because she had Jewish roots. Now, I'm looking at the name of his wife, and her name is Beatrice Roseanne Taylor. I think Roseanne is the Creole name. That's what I was looking for.
Okay.
That is, I believe, the Jewish link. I could be wrong. It's one of them. I don't care if I'm close. I'm doing better than what the news would do, folks. Barbara Bowman is the mother. Let's see where it says where she's from. South Side. Yes. Bowman was born and raised South Side of Illinois, the daughter of Laura Dorothy Vaughn, Mae Jennings, and Robert Roseanne Taylor. Yeah, that's the name, Roseanne. That's the Creole name. These were light-skinned, special blacks, got their freedom before the Civil War. Valerie Jarrett ain't one of us.
I mean, was she born in Iran or something like that, or Iraq, somewhere over in the Middle East?
In Shiraz, Iran, but her father was working for the State Department, and there's a strong possibility that that's a cover and that there was some CIA stuff.
Right.
It's right around the time that they're looking at taking down the government of Iran. She was born 1956. What happened just before she was born? Let me pull it up. I'm going to pull up Mossadegh's name.
Was that the BP and them overthrew the government?
Yeah, I'm going to pull up Mossadegh. I think him 55 or 56.
Okay.
hold on, I'm going to give it a prime minister. His government was overthrown in 1953. Forgive me.
The Operation Ajax?
Yes, Operation Ajax. But what I'm saying to you is that her father came in with the CIA people that brought those folks in.
Okay.
Are you following me?
Mm-hmm.
She's not one of us.
So she's a CIA asset. It would be safe to say that.
Would have had to have been, and by the way, it would have had to have had some connection, because that's who sent them over there. That's who they had running things. When you go to the State Department, you could be working with the CIA and not even want to, not even know.
Mm-hmm.
So there you have it. There is CIA connection.
Wow.
What's really crazy is that Bowman went to Dunbar High School, which is the elite high school, the high school my mother went to.
Mm-hmm.
You could be light-skinned to go there at one point. Fact. And dude went to Howard University now, and he was at FREeman's Hospital. Okay. Then he went to Chicago. So he must have met her there. Look at this. He was out in charge of medical nutrition at the Medical Nutrition Library at Fitzsimmons Army Hospital in Aurora, California. The same place where the guy shot up all the people in the movie theater.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
After leaving the military, Bowman decided to go overseas. He became chair of pathology at Namazi Hospital in Shiraz, Iran. So Valerie was born there. And part of what they were doing was you sent over doctors and other people to help the Shah's regime succeed. Now, what I also want you to know is that her father did a lot of research on sickle cell anemia. Some people feel sickle cell, they use some of the research from sickle cell to make bioweapons to hurt black folks.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, he was a professor of pathology and genetics at the Pritzker School of Medicine. The Pritzkers are the Jews that put the money behind Obama becoming president. Okay? And by the way, Valerie Jarrett right now lives with the Obamas here in Washington, D.C. Girl has money. Why do you want to live with two married people? I won't get into that. Why? I mean, I'm just going to put that question out. I'm not going to get involved. Okay? Right. I won't get involved so no one can get mad at me for what I'm wondering about. Is she gay? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. Stone lesbian.
Yeah, I saw a picture of her online at a LGBTQ thing in LA. So you're saying she's gay? Okay.
Yeah, she's gay, and she was Obama's main advisor.
Mm-hmm.
Can't tell. And she's Michelle's mentor. But it's that interesting. You got like this radical lesbian woman living with I guess, maybe a straight couple. I love all the weak folks that want to defend this lie, this sham that's been run on us. Oh, it makes me want to vomit. I'm not saying that they don't love each other, but that's strange. Now, I want to bring something to you. I may have brought it up to you before, but I'm going to bring it up to you again. I want you to challenge all of your listeners to go to Google and put in to Google the search bar, man's country, MAN''S, country, COUTRY, search term, the Boolean thing, and, all in capital letters. Put a space between country and in caps. And then put in sign or door sign or photos. And what you'll find is the Man's Country, which is a notorious gay bathhouse for which Rahm Emanuel and Barack Obama had membership, had a neon sign on the front window of the place. And that neon sign looks so very much like the Obama election symbol.
Wow.
Do you want me to email? Do you have access to email for me to send you a picture?
Yeah, that's sir.
I sent you right now because I know people think I'm lying. Oh, he hates them. Maybe I do hate someone, but I may hate them based on the facts, not just blind emotion. I don't operate like that. I kind of like having a reason to dislike you. It gives you your freedom.
Right.
Okay. Let me see. What's a good email for you?
weallbe@gmail.com.
Okay. Let me see if I got. Okay, I got you. Let me find this picture, and I'm gonna continue to talk. We're gonna get back to Roseanne, but I just had to.
Yeah, definitely.
But is this interesting? I hope I'm giving you some.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, it's like a lot of homework for people to look up, but it needs to be said and looked into.
Work. Why do the thinking people have to do all the work?
I agree with you.
Like people thinking.
But we're more concerned about like NBA finals and love and hip hop. We don't want to be distracted by real things.
Yeah, and okay, I just put one in, and I'm gonna put the other one in. I save this on my desktop, especially when I meet silly black Obama supporters. I love stuff to them to sit up and have someone just argue against the fact of, I don't know if you ever saw the Stepford Wives movie where they had all the women brainwashed. They just did whatever they told them to do, and at a certain point, the Stepford Wives broke down because they just couldn't, they just weren't functioning.
Right.
Blacks have acted like the Stepford Wives around seeing Obama and Valerie Jarrett and those other enemies of our community for what they are, enemies. Now, let me see. Tell me when you check your email. I just sent it to you because I want you to pull it up. In fact, please share this with people. And don't blame me. I didn't make it. Do you see it?
I'm still waiting for it. It'll pop up eventually, hopefully.
Hold on, one more thing. Let me see if I can send it through my phone. Because, hold on, I'm going to send this to you as a text. Hope that you get this. Because, really, people act like when you have your eyes open that you're a bad person. Do you realize you can't drive a car with your eyes closed? If you make love with your eyes closed, the person may think you don't like them.
Yeah.
You need to have your eyes open. Now check again, see if you have it now.
Okay.
And now I'm going to go into something else. I was talking to a friend of Donald Trump's yesterday. Very close friend of his. And he told me that this Roseanne thing had been cooked up in part by people that are close to Obama because they're worried about this Inspector General report that shows that Obama violated the Constitution a level 100 times worse than Richard Nixon. And now they're doing everything to try to get the Democrats to win, to try to create some kind of racial confusion in the country to prevent people from focusing in on what's being found.
Wow.
And, the other day I was talking about Sessions. I think I talked about Sessions on your show, how I can't stand him and all this kind of stuff. And I'm saying that I can't stand Sessions. Sessions, I do not like you. Okay, you're a racist. You look like a Kiba elf with Down syndrome. And in fact, I wouldn't eat any cookie you bake because it probably wouldn't be. Well, it would be real sweet if you made it because I think you're sweet. So
I got the thing. Okay, I see the resemblance. Wow.
You see the resemblance. All you have to do is turn the blue part on the top and make the red line concave, and you've got the campaign symbol.
Oh, yeah.
It's identical to the neon sign for one of the oldest. It just got knocked down in December last year of the homosexual bathhouse that Rahm Emanuel and Barack Obama had memberships to. That's a fact.
Wow. Oh, man.
I'm wondering why other people can't see that. Repeat. Am I lying, brother? I lie?
It looks very similar. Like you said, you just changed a little bit here and there.
King, I had never paid attention to that until like maybe a year or so ago. I know someone that did some research on Obama and so forth, proof that Obama was having sex with all these men. Okay, fact. A old white man, too. That's why he couldn't look Mitt Romney in the eye. He probably said, I had you last night. Don't you dare try to go out. I've been with you. I mean, you know, have you ever seen a situation where a dude is morally compromised?
Yeah.
Or a man, it's a preacher, and he screwed one of the women in the audience. You can just look at him, and all of a sudden he can't stand up. Right. He can what he does when he's laying down. Mm-hmm. Okay, remember Obama kept bowing. He just, I mean, like, God, like, just stand up, brother. And it's like maybe because he had him. Oh, Frankenstein looking Romney. He was like Frankenstein with no screws in his neck.
Wow.
I'm sorry, he looks like Frankenstein. Like Frankenstein needs a haircut too. No. So you've got all of this going on, and if this Inspector General report comes out and it just shows how they've covered up for sex trafficking, for violating the Constitution, for trying to get men or women to sleep with Trump or get pictures of kitties, whatever. This stuff is so nasty. No one's going to respect. In fact, people going to be having bonfires burning their Obama memorabilia trying to distance themselves. I can't wait until, you know, I'm going to save my stuff as much as I dog, and they'll be collectibles when y'all burn y'all stuff up. You're probably going to punch me in my face. Man, don't you dare sell no Obama memorabilia. No, I'm going to destroy this stuff. I can see you just jumping on me. The way you talking about Obama, you better not sell one thing in here, right? Anyway, back to Roseanne. So we did this thing. Now, let's talk about Valerie Jarrett. Valerie Jarrett was Obama's and Michelle's main advisor for their entire political career. There is absolutely nothing that Obama did for black people when he was in the Senate in Chicago. And there was absolutely nothing that he did when he was a state senator for Chicago. And there was nothing he did for black people as president, other than schmooze and posture, gobsmack ignorant Negroes who think that he was for them, you know. Okay, so you had Aretha Franklin sing at the inauguration. So but you had Beyonce at the inauguration. They're already rich. What about the rest of us? And while I'm saying this, you look at all the people dying in Chicago right now. Did you know that's linked to Obama? Did you? There was a white gentleman named Fitzgerald who was busting all the gangs, Jewish and Irish gangs and Mexican gangs and so forth. And Obama got rid of him. And once Obama got rid of Fitzgerald, the murders have been going to the ceiling in Chicago. Thousands of people have died since Obama got rid of Fitzgerald. The one person that was handling it, he was running Chicago. He was running the thugs, the crooks, and the skanks. Mm-hmm. And Obama got rid of him. Wow. Well, we love him. I mean, you know, Obama could come and take a dump on Martin Luther King's crypt in Atlanta, and people say, well, that's the only way he knew how to express his respect for Obama.
You know what it is? So you got a lot of Obama apologists out there. You trying to say
they're not apologists? They're Obama worshipers. They need to start a church and let Beyonce be Mary, a Virgin Mary. Let Obama be Jesus. Get out of church. I stopped going to my church for a year and a half because I went in Black History Month 2016 and they had Obama up there. I was ready to walk out. The only reason I say is my mother was with me. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see that. That's not Black history. That's coon history, okay? It's two different things, In fact, they are diametrically opposed to each other. Now, Valerie Jarrett told Obama if he wanted to do 2 terms, do nothing for black people. Don't speak to black issues. Don't address anything. Nothing. And he did that. And she was so Haiti, take your time going down there. The police slayings, dragged his feet. That's Valerie. She's the architect of everything that didn't happen. Flint, every disaster that hit black people where you would have thought Obama had a chance to shine. That's Valerie. That's a bitch. That's a bitch. I said again, what a bitch. What a traitor bitch she is. And I use the word bitch describing her. A lot of people homeless, hungry, didn't get a Pell Grant, didn't get the funding, didn't get to go to college, lost their home, lost their job, kids got beat, shot, killed, brutalized. And you had a black man in the most powerful office in the country, couldn't even get a old Whitman sample or some Russell Stover dollar store candies from the president. And it's that bitch's fault. And to all the sisters out there, just because you have a vagina, don't make you no freedom fighter. God gave you the vagina. And in fact, you didn't have anything to do with it being there. I hope you clean it, under the hood in particular. Having a vagina doesn't make you Harriet Tubman or a sister like Rosa Parks or Fannie Lou Hamer or Coretta Scott King or Betty Shabazz. Having a vagina and being a great woman don't necessarily go together. There's always a potential for you to be a great mother or a great person or a great grandmother or aunt or sister or a person that has a lot of well-raised children. And then you also have the potential to be a skank, to be an affirmative action tramp or an affirmative action bitch where you get counted 2 against a black man and you keep wondering why the black men don't get jobs because the system would rather give 2 of you a job than 1 to him. Okay. There are a lot of coon sisters who've drank the Kool-Aid, which has some white man's piss and something else in it. And y'all say it tastes good because y'all can't see that black men and black women need each other. And no woman is greater than her man, and no man is greater than his woman. And a lot of sisters, I'm telling you, it's pathetic and disgusting when you have a situation like when that dude with the wife who has a big avocado size, what's the thing, Adam's apple, Thug Jones, the one who became a senator. He started playing with Adam's apple. Man, we played Major League Baseball with that Adam's apple she's got. And she's running against the pedophile, was it Roy Moore? I call him because he like toying with children. Black men voted in the hundreds of thousands, and so did black women. Who did the media praise? Black women only. And forgive me, a lot of stupid-ass black women sit back and don't say, hey, wait a minute. Black men voted too. Black men were driving folks to the polls. Don't black men count? You know what? White women talk feminism, but they know how to get behind white men when there's a white agenda. Black women talk about how they're the backbone of the community, but they act like feminists. Way too many. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace that there's not one black woman in the news and no say, excuse me. Black men in particular, even those with felony convictions, were working to get expunged and all of that so they could vote. And they voted. 96% voted for Doug Jones. Had 90% of black men voted for Doug Jones, it wouldn't have mattered if 100% of black women had voted for Doug Jones. He would have lost. So the black men's votes counted. We need to stop discounting each other. I do not discount the importance of black women. The same way you see how I introduced you to Sister Bradford. When I met her, and she'll tell you we respect each other. I met this woman. I stayed in touch with her the last 20 years. First time I met her, I said, God, can we please be friends? I'm
Yeah,
like,
she's like one of them. Yeah.
I respect you, sister. I didn't even know some of the stuff she's just telling me now. I
Right.
just knew she was great.
Mm.
But you could be old or young, short or tall, skinny or fat. If you got the goods to help your people, I respect that. Okay? And I can't stand these coon Negroes running around here always saying queen, queen, queen. What they really want to do is screw everybody. And it's just, this pimp talk. Just slice up the heads of the sisters so you can get some sex, but you don't want to be married. To me, marry a queen. Stay with the queen. Raise a family with the queen. Grow old and die with the queen. Don't call them a queen just to get on top of them or try to make a little homemade porn film and laugh at her. That's not a queen. Yeah. And by the way, sisters that go for that, they're chumps. Okay? Having a vagina doesn't make you a brainiac. I know they teach the sisters in school they're smarter than black men are. We got a whole bunch of professional black women that are complete morons that have humped and creamed their way through and spread their legs. I've gone to enough colleges and I've seen it. A brother will get a C plus and they're A student. A girl get an A because she's giving the A away. And the A with 2 S's behind it. All right. Let's move off of that. I just had to get a little moral preachment in there.
No, that's good. Yeah.
Now you see why they didn't have me preaching in church. I preached at one church and the people were so angry. I went off on fake, bushy, sellout, successful, I made it coons. I went off on them, and one of those coons came up after church. My husband and I worked very hard to get to Mitchellville. And I said, I never said there's anything wrong with moving to Mitchellville. I said, there's something wrong with moving to Mitchellville and forgetting that there's some people that couldn't make it with you. That's the problem. And so, in fact, clearly, I need to preach more often here because it's pricks your conscience. If you're one of those little selfish type black people that think that because you're living okay and you got a 2-car garage and you can't afford the mortgage where you live, I'm glad I pissed you off. And then she went to the pastor, you're going to stop giving if you live over him. That's never been done right. So, we need to have a civil war against elitist coons. They make me sick. Now, back to Valerie Jarrett. Valerie Jarrett, subprime loans, right? Obama created a policy where they'd help white people who got the good loans, but blacks with subprime loans were not helped with the toxic asset. What's called TARP funding. And I forget what the R and the P is, but it's called TARP. Go look it up. And I say this all the time now because when you talk to black people who have a memory shorter than an elderly white man's penis, they want you to remember everything. And even if you can remember everything, your command of information and facts doesn't make them take what you're saying seriously. Which is why I said, you know what? Damn, why do I have to remember all this? Go look it up. When I was in school, I'm telling you, the teacher would just talk fast the way I'm doing. And if you had a question, you took notes, you went and looked it up. Why'd I have to explain and spoon feed everything? You know what? My auntie, when I was in Ohio, she, we're trying to go out walking, but she would walk so slow, I was afraid I was going to pull her or knock her down because she went so slow. And I thought, being insensitive, I'm a man, I'm younger, but she has a friend. And her friend, who's the same age as her, says she walks too slow. I walk with her. This is someone her age, who's 80. I mean, you're mad at me. I can't. I would almost fall asleep walking that slow. I get dizzy. If you ever see me walking, I walk fast. If I walk slow, it drives me crazy. I want to go fast, or at least a certain pace. One step. I can't do it. It took more energy trying to make certain that I didn't walk faster because I walked so slow. And by the way, the slower you walk, the less effective the walking is as an exercise. Do you see what I'm saying about this lady? Which means it's a self-defeating exercise. Spoon-feeding Negroes knowledge, making everything so dumb and simple won't make people think. That's the lie of the dumbing down system, is that everything has to be so completely simple. Sometimes you can't, can you imagine trying to teach a physics class or chemistry class and you don't explain the different element charts? You can't do it. There has to be a trajectory. Expand your mind. Stop expecting people to get stuff. Well, I don't like reading. I don't like what the hell? And you'll be one of those little dumbass people that's on the Titanic going down saying, oh, wow, I didn't know they had a wave pool. There's ice in it, too. Oh, I didn't pay for that. Right? To Jared. The toxic assets. Flint, Haiti, Libya, Mali, Somalia, Yemen, Detroit, where they wouldn't bail out the people, wouldn't help the city, and made the people's wages get cut. A single payer insurance. She was the advisor. She said no to it. Everything that he could have taken a stand on. Her advice is no. So all the failings of Obama, if you really want to like Obama, because I know some coons are determined to love him no matter what. Plus, he wasn't dark-skinned. White people liked him, so that's a winner for black folks. Not too dark. And he's half white, so he must be worth something, right? And white people like him. Well, then, okay, don't dislike Obama. At least give me this, that you will hate Valerie Jarrett. At least blame her. If I can't get nothing out of this, despise Valerie Jarrett. Hate her. Call her names. Talk about her. In fact, you remember the show McHale's Navy?
Yeah.
She looks like Wallace Binghamton with no glasses.
Wow.
Yeah, you could cut her hair and put that little Navy hat on her and put that at people. Oh, was that Jim Flynn? I said, well, he must have been at the beach.
I mean, if Roseanne said that, would she still be on the air today?
She would have gotten on and she said that. But what she talked about was she cracked on, people forget, she cracked on that Jewish thing and that Islam thing. People forget Saudis own 15% of America. Saudis. 15% of America is owned by Saudis. And let's do some more. The Saudis are the number one allies of Israel in the Middle East.
Really?
And people forget the Saudis are Jews pretending to be Muslims. I repeat, the House of Saud, the Saudi family, even Wahhab, the Wahhabists, these are Jews from either Iraq or a section of the Saudi peninsula called Najd, where the people are Jews. In fact, even Muhammad denounced the people from Najd as crooked and wicked people. The Sauds are Jews. Look at how they won't help the Palestinians. Look at how they're killing folks in Yemen. Look at how they're killing people in Syria and in Lebanon. Look at how they got all this money, they won't invest any of it in Muslim countries, but they own 15% of America. Go to Switzerland, it's full of stuff owned by Saudis. I've been there, I've seen it. Go to Paris, they own the big houses on the Riviera. And in London, they're not investing in the Middle East, not really outside of their own country. They are Jewish Arabs. I repeat, they are Jewish Arabs. They're not genuine Muslims. And they're the buddies. Who was up 3-4 in the morning with Prince Salman? Kushner. Okay. Who's giving money to Israel? The House of Saud is investing money in Israel, even giving the money to wage war.
Wow.
We don't follow that. So you said something about the Islamic Brotherhood, which serves the purposes of Israel. The Islamic Brotherhoods are fighting in Syria against Muslims on behalf of Israel and Saudi Arabia. Islamic Brotherhood is fighting in Yemen on behalf of Israel and Saudi Arabia. And the other Wahhabist states, Qatar is a Wahhabist entity. Gaddafi was hated by the Wahhabists. Isn't Gaddafi dead, and isn't Libya in ruins, and who's there murdering and raping people, in particular killing and enslaving black people? The Islamic Brotherhood, funded by Saudi Arabia and Israel and other such people.
Now, the Islamic Brotherhood is the same as the Muslim Brotherhood, right? It's the same people.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
But they're funded by the Saudis. Okay. This is obvious. I mean, what's his name? Bin Laden.
Mm-hmm.
His importance wasn't so much that he was a fighter. His importance was he could get the Saudi money to go in. So these people blowing up and killing people are funded by the Saudis. They are one of the largest terrorist funding entities in the earth. I mean, not as big as the United States, but they work with the United States. They do the United States bidding. Let us remember there was a big meeting between Roosevelt and Ibn Saud in the 1940s. Saudi Arabia is a protectorate of the United States. Proof of that is when Saddam Hussein was threatening Saudi Arabia. Did the Saudis get the other Arab countries to help them? No. They got their protector America to send 500,000 Americans into Saudi Arabia. And my cousin, Lieutenant Colonel Pete Britton Jr., did the Arabic language and Islamic and Saudi culture training manual for the United States military. Okay, so I know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the whole Arabic, my cousin's an Arabic linguist for the U.S. military. Put all the training together to learn Arabic for the American forces going over there. My cousin designed that. So I know they went to Saudi Arabia because I know the person that designed the stuff to teach them how to get along and make out with people. So Roseanne attacking this woman wasn't as big an issue as her attacking the Zionists and attacking the Zionist Muslims. And of course, Valerie Jarrett is a Zionist, and Valerie Jarrett is more than likely a covert Jew, or at least has covert Jewish connection, or familiar Jew. She doesn't lie about it. And Obama has Jewish roots. People don't, I mean, you can go look it up. The Jewish newspapers celebrated Obama was the first Jewish president in American history.
Mm.
The mainstream Jewish papers said he's Jewish.
Wow.
See, I don't read American papers about stuff. Remember the guy Schrakel, the one who made the pharmaceutical drug go up 16? They'll never say anything. You just know that there's this awful guy doing this, but they won't tell you he's Jewish. Whenever I see something in the news, this is my advice to your audience. When you hear about a person doing a financial crime or some sort of trickery or crookery, and they won't tell you anything other than the crime he's committed, assume the person is Jewish until you know otherwise. And what do? Don't blame or hate all Jews, because it's not all Jews, it's one individual. Go in and look up the Jerusalem Post. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, Post, P-O-S-T, or Haaretz, Haaretz, Haaretz newspaper, and go in and see what they're saying about these people. Like the guy that got killed in North Korea, the ones that North Koreans killed,
mm-hmm.
that snatched down the Kim Il-sung thing and he got busted.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know he was Jewish?
Mm-hmm.
But they won't tell you that. That's why there was so much attention. You had never heard about those three people being held in North Korea until they came back and Trump went to see them. Had you heard about those 3 men in jail?
Oh, no. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's the Jewish one over there that got in the news.
Mm.
Excuse me. I knew this guy has to be Jewish because they're giving him so much attention. They're so worried about how he's treated, all this stuff, right? I'm thinking, wow. I mean, I knew there are other people that are being held in North Korea. He's the only prisoner that they've got.
Mm-hmm.
Von Baer, do you know where you look? I looked in the Jewish press. There's all these stories about Von Baer. I said, why are people in Israel so worried about an American citizen? But then again, maybe they were a dual citizen.
Mm.
Are you understanding me?
Yes, sir.
A lot of times when you see stuff in the news and you're wondering why is there so much hype about it, it's usually because the person is Jewish and they've got Jewish backing and they look out for their own. I'm not mad at them. But we should be able to see when something is what it is and why it is what it is. And I think Roseanne Barr has some like Jewish connection, whatever, but she isn't, kissing up to Israel on certain things, so she's bad. Now, what people don't know is Roseanne Barr, either she ran or she was looking at running for president in the Green Party.
Yeah, she did do that, I think, a couple years back.
And what people don't know is that Roseanne Barr was giving money to Cynthia McKinney.
Mm.
You want to make Jewish people mad. I mean, it's one person. I mean, you ever see the old commercials say, raid! Right? And the roaches are screaming raid.
Mm-hmm.
McKinney just makes certain type of Jewish person just lose their mind. Just, just even acknowledging that she did anything, it's just war. Remember we met, this is Cynthia McKinney and folk were mad. Cynthia McKinney was supported by Roseanne Barr.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine, Roseanne Barr is saying some stuff, minus the monkey stuff, the stuff she said about Soros and Hillary Clinton's daughter. That's the kind of stuff that an anti-Zionist person says. So they punished Roseanne. And Valerie Jarrett, who's basically tried to deflect because she don't want people to know who she is. Because she's gone to Chicago. They have paid her thousands of dollars to speak. And the people ran her out of town. And her own hometown, she can't go and speak anywhere because she didn't do anything for the people of Chicago. People hate her. They don't like her. And so what's happening, another reason they're attacking Roseanne, is that there were three people that were supposed to be power players in Chicago. Rahm Emanuel, Barack Obama, and Valerie Jarrett. Only one of them has power. And if you notice, Obama's on the ropes. Now let me get this woman's name because, there's so much to share. In fact, ask me another question, but I just want to get this, see if this woman's husband's Jewish or not. Her name is, and the name is Dungy. And Dungy is another way of saying shitty. Don't blame me. Don't blame me. I didn't do it. I didn't make this language. I'm only telling you what it means. Dungey, Dungy.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, her name means I didn't do this. Don't hate me. Please don't get mad at me. Mm-hmm. You realize when you start thinking, wait a minute, she married this dude. Marin Dungy. Okay, that's just okay. Her spouse. Hold on, who's she married to? She's from Sacramento. Okay. So who is her husband? That's not her name. Okay, it's Dudu. Now, who is she married to? Scott Power. Her daughter's name is Eden. Now, it's interesting. You can't find who's Scott Power. I need to look. Remember Austin Power?
Mm-hmm.
For the $6 million man?
Mm.
Power is a Jewish surname, oftentimes. And I'm saying it has to be, but it can be. Let me look him up real fast. See, they're talking about this strong black woman and how she's calling shots at ABC. Mm-hmm. When folks come into corporate America, they don't shake up stuff too hard. Folks will get mad at them real fast.
Mm.
Let me see. Hold on one second. I just want to look at something, and because, and I want to ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I got the picture of him. It's definitely a white dude. Hmm. I told you. Hold on, here it is. Let me see. I got something. 2 days. Now his name just showed up. You couldn't find. A lot of times when people are hiding,
Mm-hmm.
they don't want you to know anything about them.
Right.
That's how certain people that are rich do stuff. So you have this black woman that's got all this power, right?
Mm-hmm.
But these ignorant professional black women want to make you think that they got power. Oh, I'm looking at him. He could be. Okay, what is it? He's born November 10th, 1968, an American entrepreneur, businessman, husband of, okay, let me see what else I would say about him. Let me see, what does it say about dude? He's 50 years old. You can't get, he's an entrepreneur. So she's married to a white businessman.
Mm-hmm.
They have adopted a daughter. And 2012, which means they didn't have a kid together. Either he's sterile or she's sterile, or both of them sterile, or they had so many abortions they can't have a baby or something. Let me see. And Davis Invitation, she worked for Davis Entertainment. Okay. Where does she know? Wow. He married this lady in they've been married 15 years. Interesting. He's a property consultant. They say he's a Christian. Okay. All right. 5 feet 11 inches. Look at this. Father's name not known. Mother's name not known. Brother's name will update soon. Sister's name. And you let me. Oh, he graduated in economics. He went to Northwestern.
Mm-hmm.
Scary. His net worth is $15 million. Okay. All right. So here we got it. Dude marries his sister. Uh-oh. I see what's going on here. She worked with the film Bridges of Madison County and The Matrix. All right. I'm done there. She's married to a white dude with some money, with mysterious background. Are you understanding me who is this sister? Who is this broad?
Right.
And by the way, she worked for Davis Entertainment, okay? And of course, she went into Warner Brothers, okay? We know the Warner Brothers are Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what Davis Entertainment is. I'm almost done. I just want to see what this is. It was started in 1984. Have a bunch of films, and they don't say much more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. Here go the films that they have something to do. They were involved in iRobot, Dr. Dolittle 1 and 2, Daddy Daycare, Norbit,
Wow.
Waterworld, Alien versus Predator, Garfield the movie, and okay, so those are some blockbuster films. In particular, the first 5: iRobot, Dr. Dolittle 1 and 2, Daddy Daycare, Norbit. This is who she was working with. We know that that's a Jewish company. So this broad is tied into Hollywood.
Okay.
Okay, enough of that. Have I satisfied you with this thing for
Yeah,
Roseanne?
it's definitely a deeper rabbit hole than I suspected. I mean, but she is Jewish, from my understanding. She claims Jewish heritage. Roseanne
Yeah.
does.
That you're a self-hating Jew, then they have to punish you even harder. Yeah, Jewish people that tell the truth that don't want to go with the BS. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like black folks like me who speak up against Obama. We have to deal with black folks. You know, I love that cool. I wish I would just stop standing up, stop speaking about black power and freedom, just accept this slavery so I can be happy. Okay, right. Wow. So, the thing I'll just say, and I'll close it here. It was funny. I laughed. I love seeing coons catch hell. I don't even care if it's a racist person that does it. Mm-hmm. Coons deserve to be reviled and ostracized. And I don't care if a white bigot does it. She did us a favor. There are a lot of people who had never looked at this little reptilian-looking broad with her mohair, Valley Jet. Okay, nobody looked at her little silly boule ass until Roseanne ripped her a new one. And the good thing about this is that it's you know, Trump has already put his mouth in this. He couldn't hold up off of it. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be very interesting. And if you look at it, the owner of Disney, he and Trump, if you saw Trump and them were fighting, you can go to CNN, anybody that wants to, just take my word for it. I didn't even do the obvious Jewish stuff. I did the unobvious Jewish stuff. Now let me go and bring up some more Zionist stuff right here, so people can go and see something in the white mainstream thing. Because you know how black folks don't like when you do your own analysis and research. Who white will validate what you just told him, Hurd? Can someone white validate this? I need someone white with its guts to certify that this information can be looked at. Because, you know, we shouldn't think for ourselves, right? And here we go. Let me pull this down. Trump said his name, because, you know, Trump works for Zionists, but every now and then Trump gets mad. Here we go. Trump brought it up today. And leave it to Trump to take something personally. I love when Trump takes things personally because he will tell, he doesn't care. He is so comfortable with being a white man. Mm-hmm. He doesn't like hide stuff. Here it is. President Trump's reaction to the cancellation of Roseanne is a shot at Disney CEO Bob Iger. I'm going to just tell you right now, you know what kind of name that is. We don't even have to waste any time. Bob Iger of ABC. So Bob Iger of ABC called Barry Jarrett to let him know that ABC does not tolerate comments like those made by Roseanne Barr. Mm. So one of the big Jews at Disney, what is Disney, the owner of ABC? They've bought all these things. I don't even know who owns what anymore. I guess Disney owns ABC. Called to tell her he was going to shut Roseanne down. Mm.
Wow.
Think about it. I repeat, Bob Iger of ABC called Barry Jarrett to let her know ABC does not tolerate comments like those made by Roseanne Barr. Look at who stepped in. Remember the civil rights movement we thought was for us? Mm-hmm. Who's benefited more than black people have from the civil rights movement? We got the beating and the martyrs and the bombing and the jails. Who got the contracts, the jobs, and the access? Honestly speaking.
White people. White females.
Not just them. Civil rights movement has done more for Jews than it ever did for black people.
Oh, wow.
Fact.
You said something right there.
Fact. And so, and I do not believe for 1 minute that the Planet of the Apes reference or the Muslim Brotherhood reference was at the heart of why they took her on. I think the other reason that they attacked Roseanne is because she supports Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And what you need to understand is that Trump is backed by Sheldon Adelson, a very wealthy Jewish man who owns gambling casinos and other things.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, there are other Jews that do not like him. There's a fight between Jewish factions. There was a fight between Obama and Hillary. Pritzker represents the Chicago Jews that were behind Obama. Hillary was backed by another set of Jews in New York. The Massachusetts Jews that backed the Kennedys. If you remember, Obama was catching hell until the Kennedys came out for him. Remember, there was a certain point where Ted Kennedy, just before he died, came out and told people to back Obama?
Yeah.
Remember who was a senator in New York that had gotten Jewish support? Robert Kennedy. Ted Kennedy was able to cause a division between various New York sectors of Jews. As well, he brought the Massachusetts Jews. That Boston has a very strong Jewish community. And Brookline, where the Kennedys grew up.
Right.
They were able to destroy the support that Hillary would have gotten otherwise. And the only thing they needed, which happened quite intelligently, remember Bill Clinton said that black people thinking Obama could win was a fairy tale?
Mm-hmm.
In New Hampshire? Right after that, that's what killed Hillary. Because if you get some of the Jews and you get some of the whites, and then you get all the black people to vote for a black candidate in the Democratic primary, they're going to win. Obama's going to sweep the South and the other places.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what killed Hillary. When Obama was criticized by Clinton was right before they went into South Carolina. That was timed. Clinton was set up. And they went right into South Carolina, in the state where blacks are the majority of the Democratic voters. There was no way. If you win South Carolina, that's like the key to the South. I think you know they're going back to the Civil War and the firing of the cannon at Fort Sumter. You win South Carolina, you're likely to win the rest of the Deep South. That's Florida, that's Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, Arkansas, right? Now, and Hillary lost. She never regained. She never had a comeback after losing South Carolina, because that's the test. If you can't win South Carolina, you can't have the South. And Obama was competitive in a lot of other places. Now, we're done with him. What's another topic? So I'm done with Roseanne.
Oh, about moving on to Morgan Freeman. What do you think is behind the Morgan Freeman situation?
Morgan Freeman, for him to say he wanted to screw a woman that was pregnant is inappropriate. But we've got people who rape folks, not someone that needs to be criticized or censored for inappropriate behavior, but no rape. I mean, I'm thinking about Pizzagate in this country. I'm thinking about Pedogate in this country, where children and women are raped and trafficked and murdered, and snuff films are made. Real pain, real abuse, real hurt. And you want to make light of that by saying he said something inappropriate? This is a white hysterical virgin game I'm not interested in playing. You know, I'm sick of playing sexuality cops and robbers with hysterical white women. We've already been through this. I think I repeat if I didn't tell you. Money, Mississippi, my family, the Battles, my cousins, who are somehow cousins to what? The Wrights, who are cousins to the Tills. That boy was murdered because a white woman said. And if you look now and then on Facebook in your feeds, you'll see over and over again white women accusing black men of rapes and crimes they never committed. This is as American as a high caloric and high salt diet for white women to lie, or for white women to be the victims of sexual abuse. It's a power grab for white women. Am I saying that women aren't raped? Nope. Am I saying sexual abuse against women, it doesn't happen? Nope. But am I saying that we have a documented history, whether it's the Scottsboro case or others, where white women lie between their teeth about sexual abuse? Hell yeah. And what I'm angry about is nobody's come forward and said, look, let's get over pretending that all white women are paragons of virtue. Let's go right back to Jamestown Colony. Who were the first large number of white women brought to the Americas? Whores and prostitutes. Fact. The very first white women brought here were tramps and prostitutes to clean out the jails. They could start a new life for themselves, to pretend everything old is new again. And I wasn't talking about their clothes. It's new to you if you haven't had it. So whether she was a prostitute in England, she came to America where women and white women were few in numbers, then she could command a high price. So white women and being easy or having low virtue or little virtue is the beginning of white women being in British North America. Fact. So, yeah, they hoed their way across the Atlantic Ocean to come here. Fact, most white women initially were of low repute. And not much has changed in 400 years. Actually, the one thing that's changed is that stupid black men run after white tramps and think they've got something and walk right by a queen and pick up one of these that don't look as good as Roseanne Barr and demand that everybody respect her and want their kids to be called something other than black. I'm so sick. In fact, I've been seeing black men getting beaten up, running out, pretending that there's not a racial code in this country, that people do not like mixed couples. I'm not saying you can't go out with who you go out with, but there are a whole lot of folks that will hurt and kill you. Vernon Jordan's little coon ass got shot. Mess with the white woman. Everyone, white and male, and otherwise, Arabs and others do not like black men being around their women. They are haters, racial haters, good and bad haters. And so, so what you got an extra inch? If you don't got an extra inch of metal plate around your head or your heart, when they come shooting, you're going to die just like a person with a 2-inch. Silly black men, stop running out thinking that, if you do have a bigger than someone else, it hasn't made you free. It hasn't made you economically stable. It hasn't protected your woman and your children. In fact, in New Orleans, they kill people's dogs during Katrina. Your pets aren't safe, no matter how big your thing was. And no matter how big a black woman's booty. Yes, it's true. The one thing that's too big to fail in this country is not banks, it's booty. But when has booty, sisters, saved us, sustained us? It might get you a free ride across country. It might even help you get a promotion in your job. But does it ultimately end the systemic and structural oppression of our people? The answer is no. Is sleeping with the enemy or sleeping with people in other ethnic groups necessarily a path to successful empowerment? Well, we've been sleeping with people for 500 years. Are we any better off? Seems like the more we screw, the further behind we get. Seems like we should say no to a lot of things. No to the new Superfly movie. No to participating in the NFL. No to putting your money in white banks. No to buying blonde wigs. No to having Asians do your feet or your hands. No to eating a food that dog and cat anyway. No to everything that you could say no to. There's a power in being intolerant. As for Morgan Freeman, they're after Steve Harvey. In fact, you know what? I can't wait for them to dig up Martin Luther King and test his DNA and try to find a whole bunch of white kids. They're going to want to get a piece of the King Center. Say, well, the King's father. This is the kind of stuff. Don't be surprised if it happens. Where folks want to have one of the King kids arrested to see if they can prove everything is Martin Luther King. And you know what? Some of the King kids are so weak, they probably give it to them. They won't say anything for homeless people in Atlanta, but they probably let a half white brother or sister get a piece of the King Center.
Wow.
You know how weak. I'm sorry, forgiving everybody. But they have, they forgive white people. And I know you heard about Bernice King going to Ferguson, denounced the black folks protesting police brutality. Did you know that?
So like when it first happened a couple of years back?
Yeah.
I didn't know that part. I didn't know she denounced it. Okay.
Yes, down there and cursed, went off on the people and denounced them, told them they were stupid, they need to stop protesting. Bernice King.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, well, Tracy Morgan with himself. She do look like Tracy. She do.
Now, Roseanne said that, would she still have a sitcom?
Well, it's not racist. I'm just saying facial comparisons are alike.
Yeah.
And she do have broad shoulders. Probably she could go in the NFL, get Kaepernick's job. Although his bush would look better on her. She'd look nice with the afro instead of using the perm. Perm's calling. In fact, sisters need to stop perming their hair. They call it fibroids, and this other kind of stuff. You know that the stuff that they use, whether it's the sanitary napkins or the black hair care products, are some of the most dangerous thing known to mankind. This is just rubbing it all in their hair, getting their hair done every week, and wondering if they're sick. And I'm one of the black companies use the same dangerous stuff as the white companies. They probably know, well, our lie isn't as bad as the white people's lie. No, you shouldn't have any lie in anyone's hair. Now, brother, let me see. There's something else I want to just kick it with you on, and that is this sister down in Georgia. In fact, the devil down in Georgia. Remember there was a band, something Daniels band, and they had a song, The Devil Went Down to Georgia. I'm going to find a name for that. That sister there, I got a good email from Cynthia McKinney because I asked her, tell me about this chunky feminist flunky. And yes, it's Charlie Daniels Band. The name came with Charlie Daniels Band. The song, The Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Right.
And this broad is a devil in Georgia. She is not a friend of the people. I know you have a lot of people in the South that are follow you, Brother Heard, and need to know that she's a coon. I get this on good account from Cynthia McKinney. There's a gentleman who is an active member of the Georgia legislature, state senator by the name of Robert Brown, who was suicided under very mysterious circumstances, who used to consistently raise hell with this sister. I call her Gay G. Abrams instead of Stacey. And you just look at the sister, and you know, I'm serious. She's the new Donna Brazile. I guess they needed a new mammy figure for the Democratic Party. So there they have. In fact, she's more bang for the buck. She's lighter skinned than Donna Brazile. She's younger, and she's less rebellious against white people. And she wears her hair natural, which will deceive a whole lot of people. And she's making all this noise about how she wears her hair. I don't care how you wear your hair. I care about the policies that you make. You understand what I'm saying? And this woman is not, she's a coon. And they are using over and over and over again. And at some point, sisters that you keeping, having something happen over and over, because that's natural. But it is not a period to keep having to put up feministic, fake men or female politicians that are supposed to just excite black people. You get where I'm coming from? And the whole game is to excite and make people feel like someone black's going to get a position so black folks will be stirred up and come out and vote. And then we're back in the Democratic Party. That's what they're trying to do. And this is wrong. Now, see, Robert Brown died in 2011. He represented the 26th district. He served 20 years. He resigned to run to be mayor of Macon, Georgia. Then they say they found his body in his home. The local coroner revealed Brown died from what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. He was a Democratic minority leader in the Georgia Senate, but he always had to fight against Stacey Abrams. Are you understanding me? The big brother murdered, conveniently out of the way, 61 years old when he died. So when you look at Stacey Abrams, they're trying to run a game. I'm just telling you. And I don't know if you heard what Stacey Abrams did. She's talking about taking down the Stone Mountain Memorial.
Okay.
To me, that's one of the biggest tourist attractions in the state of Georgia. Well, she'll be a bigger one if she becomes governor. Yeah, that was a cheap shot. It felt good. That's not right. Let these devils have their little thing, but tell the truth about the Confederacy. Right? I mean, I'm really, see, she's from Mississippi, which makes me nervous. And she's Methodist. I'm wondering what kind of Methodist, because they don't say AME. And, well, she went to Spelman. Okay, I'm not saying everyone. She worked as Youth Special Services Mayor. Okay, Environmental Protection Agency, Truman Scholar. Okay, and then she went to Yale, another gay bastion. Okay. So wow, she's in Atlanta. Doesn't really say she did much. Watch her. I'm just telling you, you have to watch this broad. She is very, very, she's good. She talks good, but, and by the way, Democrats tend to lose. Now, what you need to know, and I just encourage you to do this, they can nail her at any time they want. She owes $50,000 in back taxes. And I'm just thinking, wow. Could you owe $50,000 in back taxes, Hurt? Could you owe $10,000 in back taxes?
No.
So that says to me, I'm very intrigued how you get to owe at least $50,000 in back taxes. I don't know if I told you, I owed the government $400 in back taxes. Do you know what they did? They threatened to seal the house I lived in if I didn't pay them.
Wow.
$400. Maybe $6, no more, less than $7. It had to be between $400. How did you get to owe that much money and they're not on you? You don't have a payment plan? You know, if you owed $20 or $15 or $30,000, brother, they would be on you.
Right.
Anybody black that's really raising hell better be paid up to the IRS, because they're coming to get you if you owe them money. Let me see. Now ask me anything else, brother. I'm just trying to think.
The Jack Johnson pardon, what was that really all about?
I'm happy about that. I mean, I hope Trump pardons everybody. Donald Trump had a bunch of people meet with him. There are actually people that meet with Trump all the time. And I think he listens some of the time. Trump has this obsession with proving that he can get people to support him. He really does want this. I mean, he wants it bad. He wants it bad. He wants to prove that he could get black folks to support him. He wants it. And he wants to prove, because Trump has an ego, Trump wants to prove that black folks would vote for him when they wouldn't vote for other people. So
he had a list of things, and I can just say to you personally, I gave a list of things that I felt would at least be symbolic things that would show some good faith from Trump, because he has such a bad reputation with black people who don't know him from New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I listed names. I said that Colonel Charles Young from Kentucky, from Maysville, Kentucky, that should get a commission as a brigadier general, and they should honor Young more than what they're doing. He should pardon Jack Johnson for violating the Mann Act. He should pardon Chuck Berry for violating the Mann Act. Only two people I'm aware of have been convicted, both Chuck Berry and Jack Johnson. And I also mentioned Marcus Garvey should be pardoned. Among other people that I mentioned should be pardoned. And so from what I hear from a friend who works with Trump, there's a whole list of people, black, that have been dogged and abused, that Trump looks to start bringing out one after the other, because he wants to prove people who think of him as just this stupid white racist liar that they don't know what they're talking about. And it's possible for a person to be bigoted but not be an extreme crazed racist. I'm not saying one way or the other about Trump. What I am saying is, for those people who need these kinds of pardons, if Marcus Garvey's family feels that they need to be exonerated by the United States government, and it will make them feel better, even though I don't think that it's necessarily something that they have to have, and as much as Garvey was standing up to the government. But, you know, if they need it, if Trump gives it, and it makes this handful of black folks feel good, great. Are you feeling me?
Yeah,
but what is that Obama refused to do it.
Right.
He refused. By the way, Valerie Jarrett told Obama, don't do Jack Johnson. And Valerie Jarrett said, don't do Marcus Garvey. So if there's any idiot that likes that strong black woman, that backbone of our community, okay, where was Valerie Jarrett when Obama decided to double the price on Assata Shakur's head? She had the kind of influence to say, don't do that.
Did she give him the go ahead, though?
Are you feeling me? Do you like Valerie Jarrett after talking to me?
I mean, I don't know the woman personally. I know people who got family connections to her, and they told me some interesting things about her.
Were they good things or were they bad things?
Well, they just told me that at one point, like, she got married at one point and got divorced from the guy. The guy's no longer living. He was, I think, a doctor, and they had a child together.
And what happened to the child?
I don't know what happened. I don't really know. I just think that she was more of a careerist, but she was very ambitious as far as a career-wise. That really, I think she just had the child, or based on what they told me, she had the child to just, she got married so she could have the child, and so she could get out the way and continue on her career. That's what it sounds like.
She got married to throw the anti-LGBTQ bloodhounds off her trail.
And you know, Jared, I guess by marriage, what's the guy named Vernon Jarrett, who started AXO, the Chicago journalist?
Yes, I'm familiar with the Jarrett, the activist Jarrett that helped.
Yeah, she's connected to him. Yeah, she's connected to him by, I guess, marriage. Is his last name Jarrett? Right. Yeah, but he started the AXO thing for the NAACP, So I know there's a very powerful, prominent name in Chicago, in Black Chicago, the Jarrett name.
Mm-hmm. But she's not really tight with them. She pimps the name of that family, but not really like close, or because she divorced him, didn't she?
Yeah, she divorced the guy. Yeah, but she kept the last name.
Yeah, she's
interested. Yeah,
because she used him like a black widow.
I mean, he's dead. I believe he died. I think he died a while back. I believe they had a son together, if I'm not mistaken.
And where is the son?
That's a good question. I don't know, because I had talked to relatives related, connected to the Jarrett side about maybe 2 years ago. They were telling me all this stuff about their family and whatnot.
See, I like the Jarretts in Chicago that stood up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this one. I mean, and we shouldn't like her. I mean, people, the black community was more dynamic when folks were hard on our traders or hard on half-steppers. If you coon, people didn't like you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Michael Jordan. He shouldn't be able to go anywhere in the black community. People should get up and just walk out of the room. I know you're rich, and I know that but you're nothing for us to like. You play good basketball, but you play being a coon even better.
I mean, he was stood up and support Harvey Gantt, back in North Carolina.
He didn't support his own father. I mean, your father missing, and
strange.
Remember, he took the people underwear and Gatorade.
Mm-hmm.
He could have had that town built back. He could have gotten. He didn't give. This kind of black person, they're monsters, and we should be unfriendly to these people. They shouldn't be able to count on our support or our friendship or anything. They should almost, I met Clarence Thomas 12, 13 years ago. And Clarence Thomas was really, really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Incredibly nice as a person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious. But Clarence Thomas had security guards. Clarence Thomas came in the side door. Clarence Thomas has Clarence Thomas has begun to do work down in Georgia, where he's from.
Mm-hmm.
Because the people where he's from hate him so much you can't even say his name. You may get beat up for talking about him. They don't even want to hear his name. He's had to go back to where he's from and start doing stuff to help out. You didn't know that.
Mm-mm.
Quietly. And I think the people wanted them quietly. Like, they don't want him to go out of the way. Don't try to make people know you're doing stuff. So Clarence Thomas has been creating stuff back in his town in Georgia quietly to try to redeem himself. Because people just hated him so much. I had some associates that went down there and they asked him about Clarence Thomas. People almost mobbed him. And people told him, we're going to run. Who are you? Who sent you down here? Who gives a... And this is, look, if you ever say that name again, I mean, we will physically run you out. We'll drive you. We hate him. Everybody hates him. And we're sorry. We just have to get that out. So you can stay down here, but you're not going to talk to somebody we don't want to know. And that's how the person had to agree not to talk about Clarence Thomas.
Wow.
In order to avoid the hate. That's a good thing. I wish Larry Jarrett was subject to that. Where people say, that's the bee that was in there 8 years. I don't know if you heard about what happened to Omarosa. Springfield Mall. It's real talk. Omarosa was at the Springfield Mall looking at wedding dresses. And these sisters began screaming, calling her a bee. The top of their voice, the president's whore, prostitute, the president's whore. And they cussed out the Secret Service. Ask them, the bags, we'll be there. I mean, Omarosa had to flee the Springfield Mall. Because I can't play! Omarosa!
Where is Springfield Mall? Where is it located?
Springfield Mall is in Springfield, Virginia. It's about, I'd say about 20, 25, 30 miles max. Maybe it's 25 miles southwest of D.C.
Wow.
It's not far from where I live. It's about no more than 25 miles southwest of D.C. That's way down Richmond. And those women, I mean, the security guard, they basically chumped the security guards in the mall. They're going to beat those men up in there. We just want to kick them behind. We're not bad people. We just want to kick that beat. And so what you F Trump? You like, I mean, they had to get her out. She couldn't go to the store to pick dresses during business hours because the sisters wanted to just show her what time it was, let her know how it really was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate Omarosa. I went to school with Omarosa. I mean, I went to school with everybody. And I had to tell Omarosa straight up, I'm not going to steal money for you. And if you're as hot as you think you are, you can get whatever it is you want without using me. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And if you think it's good, trust me, if it's good, there are a lot of people with more money than me. I don't have to steal from the student government to supplement the grant you already got.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I'm looking for a woman. It's not you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. it's stressful. Like, and her breasts weren't that big then. You know, she's had them things. They were good, puffed up, but those things are like little Chiquita bananas. She's a little small one. Now she's blown those things. Man, it's like she got cantaloupes. Well, I know it's like a little platter. You know, you go to a little Hispanic store, you know, the really teeny bananas.
Mm-hmm.
Ones that almost look like the dress Josephine Baker would wear.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. When I saw the person, that's not Rosa.
Wow.
Look like she had my ham under her shirt.
Wow.
So that's real talk. Oh yeah, I mean, I always tell the story that when Omarosa was running to be Miss Howard, I think in either 1998 or 99, 1 to 2 years, and Omarosa, as her finale, before Janet Jackson made her breast fall out at the end of the song, and she got booed and she lost. I didn't think anybody boo a titty. I mean, you know, I give it a high five, but you know, but boo. But they booed her bosom, and she lost. But she did go on to be Miss DC. That's a very determined woman, a very smart woman. At least very. She can make it. She's gonna go somewhere. I don't know what happened with her book. Remember she said she had a book coming out?
Yeah, she was gonna write a book about it.
I don't know if Trump may have bought all the manuscripts in the blue.
Yep.
And I was gonna say to you, I gotta ask you, have you noticed that Mrs. Trump is still in the hospital?
I thought she was out. I just assumed I didn't know she was still in the hospital.
It's 19 days. Maybe she came out, but she was in there a long time. And they said it was a urinary tract infection or something like a kidney infection.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that she didn't get anything from Stormy Daniels. And I hope not. I'm not saying that is. I'm just saying, you know, when you have a husband that messes around, you can get a yeast infection. You have more yeast than one. You have more yeast than Wonder Bread because you're messing around. I just wondered about that. You stop hearing about the First Lady, and it was all mysterious how she's in the hospital all this time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I mean, notice how you haven't been hearing about her.
Yeah.
And I think he got her out of the hospital, but he got her name spelled wrong.
Mm.
Now, there was something I was going to mention to you, and I need to introduce you to a cat who's overseas so you can do a show. We need to do a program talking about South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the black people there are going haywire on the white people, and that was to have been expected. You know, that's why we need to start talking about all this forgiveness and start really solving people's social, political, and economic problems. And stop having cheap religious coons tell people, forgive this. You know, if you want to forgive something, forgive my credit card debt, forgive my mortgage, forgive my student loan, right? Forgive my taxes, right? Right, forgive my APR down to 0. Thank you very much. It's interesting that there's never any forgiveness for victims, only forgiveness for victimizers. But, you know, South Africa, you got about 10, maybe 12 million people that are coloreds, who are in reality a variation of mixed black people, many of which don't want to identify with black folks, and they're catching hell. Drugs, crime, confusion. And one of those folks reached out to me, and he was quite surprised because we were talking about, I was telling him that I didn't like the ANC in South Africa and that those guys are coons. They are coons. And I'm going to send you a letter that this young man wrote to Mandela before Mandela died, because, you know, Mandela is highly overrated. He's the South African version of Obama. And a lot of people, you know, think that Mandela is this great man, and they have no idea that, you know, Mandela sold the people out. He sold the people out so hard until one of the greatest leaders that they had in the resistance movement had a stroke behind recognizing the depths of Mandela and his guys selling out the people. Do you remember Oliver Tambo? You've heard the name.
I can't say I have. No, sir.
You didn't know the dude had a stroke? That Mandela and them coons so hard, they betrayed the people so mightily until one of the key inner circle of the movement against the apartheid had a stroke. That's what Mandela did. A lot of people don't know that Mandela was a coon. They've been told, the same way they've been told Obama's a, you know, freedom fighter, you know. You know, you could tell black people that the dildo is a skyscraper and they'll believe it if it comes on the regular news. And if you try to tell them otherwise, they get angry. You know, I saw it on the news. And so, well, they show black people as monkeys on the news. Is that true? They'll say no. Says, well, if you can scrutinize the media when it comes to you personally, why can't we do it in a more systematic way? And that's normally when folks start, you say, man, I don't know what you're talking about. You talked above my head. That's black people's way of saying, please stop talking about an intelligent subject. I'm happy at the stupid, ignorant level that I am. And I don't appreciate your well-informed information. It's making me quite angry. And I'm bored. I'm through talking. That's what I mean by saying you're talking over my head. And so that's about it. But anyway, my brother, let's do this again. South Africa, and I'm thinking that we're going to have, there's something I want to share with you.
Okay.
Baltimore. Did you hear about the white woman? Her name is Amy Caprio.
Okay.
She's a little racist white police officer who was trying to kill a young black man that she assumed was trying to commit a crime, which is true, but she couldn't prove it. She jumps out of her, she backs this dude into a corner before she's even run the plates on his car, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she comes out of her car and begins shooting at this dude.
Okay.
And this young guy, who's a young criminal, not well experienced, part of that's how he got caught, he panics, hits the accelerator, and he does to her what Wile E. Coyote always wanted to do, the road runner.
Oh, wow.
He ran, road runner. And he ran over her and killed her.
Wow.
And the cops in the white community here in this greater D.C. Baltimore area, white folks want revenge. They want these young men punished. They found 3 other people, and they want all of these people to be made examples of. And now the police are going around beating the crap out of and brutalizing black people in Baltimore. It's just a matter of time or a weekend or so before the cops execute someone Freddie Gray style, and you may have another explosion in Baltimore. I hope not.
All right.
But I find it quite interesting. I think you and I have talked about Baltimore in the last couple of weeks. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Whenever I start feeling something, it happens. I don't even know why it's like that, but I'm telling you, Baltimore could blow again. You know, they had their police chief recently resign because he hadn't filed taxes in at least 3 years. At least 3. It may be not filed taxes at all. They have another guy, and it's proven that they've been dropping guns on young black men and others, and then after you kill them, put a gun on them.
Mm-hmm.
So the community's in uproar. The community that really hates the cops. And so if the cops go around beating up and brutalizing people when a cop was trying to kill someone and they got the person before the cop got them, you might see either some people shoot some cops or the cops shoot some people, and you're going to have a repeat of 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. By the way, nobody, Democratic side, okay, nobody from the Democratic side, black, that's running, has said anything about this. They're not going to show any leadership. And so there you have it. Wow. We may see between now and maybe mid-August some mass level civil disturbances in the city of Baltimore. I hope not. I want to be wrong. By the way, I don't want another person killed. I don't even want a policeman killed. I always tell people my father was a policeman, a police chaplain, but a good person, a person that loved people, that wasn't corrupt, and would tell me that there were corrupt people on the force, and that the people come to him as a chaplain and would confess and tell him they don't like the partner that they're with, and when they go out, they just deliberately hurt people. They're people that just need to be talked to, and someone wants to beat them.
Sure.
I get this firsthand from a cop, that a lot of those people feel suicidal and depressed, not because of the people, but the brutal cops who shouldn't be on the force.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's firsthand confession. He never told me who or what, but he never told me who, but definitely told me what. So I know I have never been hit or slapped around by a policeman, but I know from my dad getting confessions that these folks beat people, shoot people, sexually abuse people. And if you're on the force, it's almost impossible to come forward, because then someone may want to hurt you. So the police in many instances operate like a gang. In fact, even less ethical than many gangs, because we know gangs are going to have territory. Gangs are going to tend to do what they're supposed to do within their turf. Cops, you never know what they're going to do because they have a badge, and they act like a super gang. They can go anywhere. And I'm going to stop there for a second. We'll see some other things come up. But keep your eyes peeled on Baltimore. And let's think about once this weather gets warm. And, oh, yes, I have a praise story. You know, remember Benjamin Banneker, the man who built Washington, D.C. and put all the Masonic stuff in there? A lot of people may not be aware that Benjamin Banneker used to have to travel via or to Ellicott City to get work done for getting the nation's capital construction done. Ellicott City is like one of the most racist KKK Nazi places in the region. That's the city that you see that's underwater with the water going down the street. It's the second time in 2-3 years that city has flooded. They're not going to build it back because they didn't expect it to flood so quickly. So it's kind of interesting. It's almost like judgment for the big sundown racist town to be destroyed by the elements. And I think that's a harbinger for what's going to happen to a lot of these places, like what you and Ashira and I were talking about, these sundown Nazi KKK towns where they have these mass shootings. And I have a riddle. How come you don't have mass shootings in the summertime?
Wow.
Because it's the black kids who know how to fight in summer school. They do that stuff with the eggheads. I mean, can you imagine some gangster people? Oh, he got a gun. F him. I'm going to throw a chair in you. They would probably kill some of these people before the police got there. So they never, ever mess with the bad kids. And some school kids would kill them. Man, this is more fun than beating up a teacher. So, anyway, let me let you go, my brother.
That's right. Thank you so much. We're good to love you, man. They keep on producing and pushing.
We have to. We have to. Okay. Peace.
Peace.
All right.